What's up, oddballs? Welcome back to The Oddity Shop, the podcast where the bizarre is always on sale, and we're here to tell you creepy, odd, weird, strange, bizarre stories from around the world. I am your curator, Zach, sitting here with the other wonderful human being that I get to call my co-curator, Kara. How are you today?
I'm doing fabulous, thank you.
You're welcome. Mm-hmm. Would you like to ask me how I'm doing?
No. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine,
Okay. Good.
The weather's getting cooler. I hate that summer is over, but you know what I'm ready for?
Well, when we're recording this, we're already in November, so...
I mean, we're in October.
It's cold.
It's already cold. It's gonna be November when y'all listen.
Right.
Beanie season.
But what are you looking forward to? Oh, beanie I should have guessed that.
I cannot wait. I will not get a haircut for the next 6 months. I will live in the beanie. I will shower.
You'll be a little grease ball.
My favorite time of year.
Grease lightning, baby.
What about you? What's new with you?
Oh, okay. There's this little, on my way home, there's this little tiny, I don't even know what you'd call it. Just like, there's a gnat in here, guys, and it's driving me bonkers.
Oh my God, I have one in my room too.
Great. They're probably best friends like us. There's this little shop, and I've told you I wanted to take you there. It's not an oddity shop, but it's like a little boutique shop, and they have just like all kinds of like really cool things, like, you know, clothes and woodwork and metalwork and just jam and just random stuff. And I never really get to go to it because the hours, by the time I'm like coming home from work, it's been closed.
Right.
But the other day, why was I going past it and I had time? I was leaving my mom's salon. She cut my hair. And I was like, no, I had so much stuff to do. I didn't really have the time. But I was like, I drove like 2 miles past and I was like, I need to turn around. So I turned back around and I went to it. And I've gone there once.
Yeah.
But I didn't even realize when I passed it, but I turned back around and I go in and they had like booths and they had like small business booths out there. And I was like, oh, perfect timing to go. So I wanted to shout out this small business because they were just such sweet people. It's called Just Sayin, but it's JUSAYIN. And they do like laser cutting, engraving, design, whatever. But I bought the cutest things. So I don't need a flask, but it says bat blood and it has a bat on it.
Oh, that is cute.
Stop it right now. And then I also got this cute little, it's almost like a little burlap sack, but it's tiny. And it says sacred shit.
That is so cute. I love it.
And she's like, oh, normally I stuff it with like rosemary or sage or stuff like that. And I'm like, Oh my God, I was thinking it for like crystals or something, but also like sage would be cute.
Little magic
So
pouch.
I bought those things, but they were just so sweet. And I was just telling them about us and they followed us right away. And they were just really nice. So I'm like, this is why I had to turn around.
Yes. Okay. So do we have a website for them? Can we link that below for everyone?
Their Instagram is at IMJUSAYING. I'm just saying.
Perfect. Check them out. They got cute shit because you were just showing me the stuff you bought and it is very darling.
The little business card is just a piece of wood that's all engraved and has a QR code on the back.
I love that.
It smells, you know. Well, because it's
very nice.
What is it? Burned? What's it called?
Yeah, wood burning.
Yeah, thank you.
Engraved.
Thank you. It smells so good.
Well, speaking of little gift things, should we give a thank you to our amazing guest from last week who sent you a bunch more Bram Stoker sheets and sent me a comic book. So thank you, Dacre. We appreciate the heck out of you.
Why would we thank him? Are you fucking kidding me? I still can't sleep over the fact that he was on our podcast.
I know. He's amazing. He's the sweetest human being ever.
Cutest.
And if you do listen again, thank you so much. We appreciate the hell out of you.
All right.
Last thing before we open the shop up. Y'all already know about the phone number, but if you didn't listen to last week's episode, November 1st, just a few days ago, we launched Patreon. Now, we would love your support in any way, whether that's just writing in, calling in, giving us love on social medias. But if you want to take it to the next level, you don't have to, but we would love your support. And for the first 5 US people who sign up for Patreon, we've got a fun giveaway of some awesome handmade gifts for you. So if you want to be one of the winners, better sign up fast. Okay. That's all I got. What do you got?
I have a question for you.
Ooh, opening the shop with a question. Let's do it. What do you got? What's the question?
What's your favorite part about history?
Oh, God. I know you're asking me that because I always give you like so much of the history in the beginning. I think it's just like, I think for when I'm researching it, going into the history, I have like a preconceived notion of what I think it's going to be. And every time I start to get in there, I'm like, go down rabbit holes.
That's a good answer.
It's just so different than
what you thought.
Because we all like have a perception of what American history or European history is in our head. But like when you dig into a specific area, you see just how like,
well, because we were only taught such small, little, tiny.
Everything is way more intricate than you think. And it's cool to get that little glimpse to figure out how we got to where we're at today.
I accept the answer.
Well, thank you. Because I don't have any others for you.
No, I agree with you. And I do like to, and I think the point of history is to learn from it. So I do like to, to learn like pretty much what not to do is essentially what history tells us most of the time, right? Like what not to do, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I like to get into just like the weird things, the oddities sometimes, like just like you said, the things that maybe we had a preconceived notion about.
Are we calling this History is Mysteries? That's probably a trademarked show, but...
We could, but it's not really a mystery. Well,
I'm jumping the gun. I'll just let you talk.
I like it. All right, let's talk some history.
Let's do it. I'm excited that you're giving me the history for once.
I knew you would love this. Okay. We're going to talk about J. Walter Wills. You know him?
It sounds familiar, but we'll see if it rings a bell or if it's just a fun name. And I'm saying
it's a fun name.
Familiar.
So cool. Okay. Well, maybe you know him, but I don't think you do. Wills, as we're going to call him. So we're just going to call him Wills. He was born in 1874 in Yellow Springs, Ohio. And as we know, Ohio is for lovers. And that's how he ended up there, his parents. Because they were lovers.
Perfect.
Okay. Although, though, it's not a love story, his parents were formerly enslaved and fled from Kentucky during the Civil War. So it's kind of a love story, but it's really sad. But after graduating college in 1899, Wills ended up in Cleveland. Have you heard of Cleveland, Zachary?
Oh, just once or twice. Okay. It's that, lovely state to our south.
You said it so sarcastically. If you're listening from Cleveland, you're lovely.
Listen, we do love listeners from Ohio, but the Michigan-Ohio rivalry does run strong. We are the superior state.
I have no rivalry with it. I just don't give a shit.
You don't even have rivalry so much you can't even say the word.
I know. I realize I fucked it up. Okay. So at this time, the Cleveland Street Railway Co. brought Wills and 18 additional African-American men to the city as strikebreakers during the streetcar conductor strike. And for those of you that don't know, a strikebreaker is a person who works despite an ongoing strike. So typically people that don't work for that company prior, they were hired during a strike to keep the company running.
They also do not have a good time with the people who are on strike.
No, I can't even imagine.
Okay.
No. Of course, I'm sure you can see it coming after a strike. Like after it was over, the strikebreakers were fired because they don't need you anymore. You're just there to fill. You're literally a pawn to just...
Yep.
So Wills did that for 9 months. Planning on becoming a physician, but needing work, he looked for work in the insurance business. And we all know that job searching is difficult. The thought of looking for a job right now, if I had to, which thankfully I don't, makes me want to gouge my eyes out.
Yeah.
I hate it. But I can't imagine how it was for him. And he got an interview at Mutual Life of New York, offered the job, and was about to sign. Awesome. Yay. So excited you get a job.
Uh-oh.
No.
I knew something was coming.
Wills was informed. I can't imagine this. You're literally about to sign your contract because you just sign job contracts. So he's about to sign this contract and he was informed that they only sell policy to whites. Now, Wills being African-American was light complexion.
Did they not know he was African?
They did not know. But he revealed it. And he was offered to refer to himself as Cuban, and he could still take the job.
Yikes.
Will said a big F you, and he left.
As you should.
But though, can you imagine though? Because he's like 25, he needs a job.
It's a tough call, but I mean, let's talk about sticking to your guns. Damn.
I think that's amazing. Because I think a lot of people would have just been like, you know what? I need this job. I have to take it. And I'll just lie and say I'm Cuban and just call it a fucking day. It would eat you up, but you need the job.
Will's got some morals.
Yeah, he's got some will.
I see what you did there. Okay.
So after dealing with this kind of treatment at other potential jobs, he just ended up at State Mutual Life Insurance Co. of Worcester, Massachusetts, because they had an anti-discrimination law. Okay, so he ends up there. Cool. He also did this while attending law school, which he's just like, holy shit, he's a trooper. Okay. In 1904, he ended up working with William, I think it's G. It's G-E-E. It's either G or Gee. You think G?
Okay, say that one more time. I'm going to be honest with you. I had to go back because I was laughing at the way you screwed up Massachusetts.
Massachusetts?
But everybody in Massachusetts is so yelling at you for saying Worcester wrong.
I know. I knew I fucked that up already.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's Worcester. And then I had to like Google it.
It is Worcester.
Which is so, because
but if you read it,
Worcestershire sauce is the worst sauce to say. And then you have that name that, sorry, I just went down a total tangent.
No, because I do know that I knew how to say it, but I got caught up and then I fucked up Massachusetts.
That state. And then what's the name of the city I'm supposed to be helping you with now?
It's not a city. It's the guy's name. It's William G, but it might be Gee, actually. It's G-E-E.
I think that's Gee. We're going to go with Gee.
Holy cannoli.
Wow.
So in 1904, Wills ended up working with William Gee in the funeral business. My dream.
That is all your dream. I could never.
You'd never go broke.
That is true. You have a point there.
All right. With William, they had the second Black-owned funeral home in town. That's cool. 1904.
That is really cool, actually. Yeah.
So they started in a small office on East 33rd Street and Central Ave. And in 1905, Wills actually moved the mortuary into his wife's deceased father's house to expand, which it sounds crazy, but I know that used to be a thing, right? So he was able to remodel the downstairs of the home to be like a parlor, and then they lived upstairs.
I think that happened with a lot of funeral homes. I think it actually still does, like where the family
It probably
lives
does, but I don't think it's as common. And it does it just sounds wild that like downstairs we're holding funerals, but upstairs, like it sounds a little wild, but I know it still does happen. Okay. And that location was at 2323 Central Ave. I'm just giving you all the addresses so that, you know, if you're ever in Ohio or you live in Ohio, you can do like a spooky little
spooky tour.
Like I said, he remodeled the bottom level, but again, needing more space from the growing popularity. And after sad William passed away, they needed a new establishment, moving them to 2529 Central Ave in 1905. Okay. This is where I just want to start and talk about how great of a person Wills is, which I think we can already probably gather that because I feel like if you're driven like that, but then you're also trying to still stay true to yourself, I feel like you're just usually a good person.
Yeah. He's given the vibes of it.
Yeah. So he opted out of traditional funeral home decor.
Okay.
So I think you can kind of envision, like, especially around that time, just like moody, like darker, like even funeral homes now, they're just
lots of velvet and like
and just like wallpaper that's like
like very Victorian-esque.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I was trying to think of. But he opted for bright white and light so that it didn't feel so sad and depressing.
I like that.
Because you're already sad. So why are we going to make the environment feel more
absolutely
sad?
Yeah.
Let's be upbeat.
I like it.
I know. He was also very much a family man. So he had his two sisters work at that funeral home as funeral attendants. And then he also had his son help with like the business as he was a teen.
Yeah.
So just really tried to keep it in the family. He also really did a lot for the community. He wanted to help out with the community. And he really liked using carriages and horses. So he would resource them from locals until he was able to buy his own team of horses and a carriage. And for those of you who are wondering, the horses' names were Barney, Richard, and Colonel.
I love a horse named Richard for some reason. It's so proper for an animal.
I'm going to let my stepdad know.
Hey, Richard, you want a carrot? Oh, God. Oh, Rich is going to love this one.
Okay. So shout out to Rich. I don't know if he actually listens, but he shares all of our stuff or likes everything.
Huge shout out to Rich. Appreciate you, buddy.
I know. Okay. So anyway, Wills actually became the first Black mortician in Cleveland to own a funeral limousine.
Oh, is that just another name for a hearse?
You know how they're like the long, like the big hearse limo things? I know you've seen them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a Baptist church down the street from me. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And during the Great Depression, Wills converted one of the floors into a food pantry for like canned goods, flour, sugar, and like more stuff for those that were in need. And then he would hold funerals for little to no cost for people that needed it at that time. What a sweet man.
He just sounds like an amazing man. Also, if his slogan while having the funeral or the food pantry open wasn't "come for life, stay for death," he did something wrong.
Oh my God. I don't think it was that.
Sorry, a little too macabre.
Maybe he's rolling in his grave like, damn. Okay. So unfortunately, he ended up having 2 properties. So he moved a couple times in between, and he had 2 properties over those years condemned by the government. I'm sure you can figure out why.
Yeah. Can do some reading between the lines there.
Because of this, the funeral home was then moved to 2491 East 55th Street in 1941. So far, how are we feeling?
I mean, I'm feeling like he's a great guy. I mean, the business is lasting a while. He's doing some good things. I feel like whenever you ask me how I'm feeling, you're about to drop some shit on me. So let's go.
No, I'm just asking how you're feeling. Okay, so we're gonna, do a little backtracking. 1 year before Wills, unfortunately, was laid off from being a strikebreaker, a Gothic brick-style 50,000 square foot building was being built. This building was a 42-room clubhouse built for the German Society.
Oh.
Yeah, so opening in 1900, the singing group, the Cleveland, I am not even going to try to pronounce this word. I'm going to spell it for you all. Gesangverein. Gazverian.
German
Cleveland.
Word.
Yep.
Usually I can help you with words. German, not my strong suit.
And I'm fucking German, Jesus Christ. They performed there for 14 years.
Okay.
As all historic buildings seem to be more of a home of all trades, if you will, after the choir, the building was converted into a hospital for Hungarian immigrants.
Gotcha. Very specific.
Yeah. So we have a club built for the German Society, a singing group for 14 years. Then we go to a Hungarian immigrants hospital.
I just am still stuck on what singing group needs like 22 rooms, but okay.
Apparently, this is a very prominent 42 rooms.
Oh my God. Okay.
But apparently, this is a very prominent thing. Like that group is, I don't know. I looked it up and I was like, okay, it's not just in Cleveland. It's very prominent.
Fair enough.
After that endeavor, it housed the Hebrew Institute for the next 18 years.
Okay.
So we're kind of going to a lot of, like you said, very specific things.
Very specific things. Lots of cultural diversity over the years. Yes. I'll take it.
Love it. And like all good history, there are some rumored events that have taken place in the building. And I say rumored because there's some things that, like some articles that didn't say this, but some that were very adamant. So I very much think that they're not rumored, but I'm just putting that in there because, it's said that the lower level was a meeting place for Freemasons.
Oh.
I love me some secret societies.
Hell yeah. We need to do like a secret society month.
We do.
Ugh.
And then it's also said that during the Prohibition, it was rumored to hold a speakeasy, more secrets, which I want to find an actual speakeasy that you have to have like a code, a thing, and a thing, and a thing.
Oh, I got you one in Grand Rapids.
I knew you were going to say that.
I got you.
Okay.
We can do one.
And now this collective building was the House of Wills, the largest Black-owned funeral home in Cleveland.
What a badass name, House
the
of Wills.
House of Wills.
Which is
that not incredible?
The double entendre there, too. Because
I love it.
Wills come with death. Oh my God. Okay. I love this. That's a power name. It's a pun. Chef's kiss.
I knew you'd love that.
Yes, I'm here for it.
So they were able to hold up to 8 funerals a day. They were also, or Wills was able to employ, it's not up to 50 people, but honestly, it could have been more with like his carriage drivers and all of that. I mean,
yeah.
You know. So it was just like an incredible thing. I mean, he went from having to potentially lie to be Cuban to get a job to just basically just kind of bumming around and just like being such a good face for the community and just being so charmful and amazing that he was able to kind of just like fall into this endeavor. And then
now, question for you. Black owned, did he help all families, do you know, or was
he did.
Okay.
He did.
I figured he would.
Yep. So it was primarily, African American, but he did help whoever in need.
That's amazing.
Which, again, that just goes to show his character. He's a great guy. I got goosebumps. I want to be his friend. Okay. Sadly, he passed in 1971, and the funeral home was passed to his adopted son, Harry, until it was no more.
Okay.
Okay. So from 2005 to 2010, it sat abandoned.
Gotcha.
Okay. How do you feel now?
That's actually not a long time to sit abandoned. Do we know what it was after 71? I mean, obviously the adopted son had it for a minute.
So his son had it for a while, and then I didn't really see much as to what happened.
Could have been just like privately held or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. All right. So Eric Freeman stumbled upon the house when he moved to Ohio from California.
Okay.
No idea why he left California for Ohio. Couldn't tell you.
Doesn't seem logical to me. Must have been a lady.
Honestly, that or it's expensive.
True.
California.
Yes, it is.
Wanting to restore life back, he purchased it in hopes to make it something positive for the community. So I don't know if this is accurate, but I saw that maybe he wanted it to be like a juvenile club to like help teens, things like that, but just something to be positive. I guess he kept walking past it or driving past it and was just like, that should be something.
Okay.
So he eventually purchased it. Sadly, it still sits mostly untouched. But if you do a quick search, you'll see it's listed as the most haunted funeral home in Ohio or in the
world.
Yeah, I don't know.
Another most haunted location in the world?
Well, funeral. It doesn't say location. It says funeral.
Okay.
Okay. So how are you feeling right now?
I mean, I figured that's where we were going with this, right? I kind of think, though, like, I love that you said that the building was kind of calling to this last owner you were talking about, though, and he wanted to do something good for the neighborhood, which kind of just, like, makes me think that, we've talked about, like, Brian Cano's on real estate, where houses start to pick up that energy, and if you had somebody like Will's running a business that was, like, for the community, it's crazy that it's, like, as people are just passing by it, they're getting that vibe of wanting to turn it into something to help the community, and that could be residual. But that's my feelings and thoughts.
I actually really love that you said that. The House of Wills was featured on Zach's crush's show, Living for the Dead. Who's your crush?
Kind of am crushing a little bit on Ken Boggle. Just the tarot extraordinaire and his little hat. I love, he's just, okay. I need that show to come back onto Hulu right now. I cannot believe it got pulled.
Side note, it's coming back October 18th, so you can be happy. Now, the way side note for everybody, because this is how me and Zach's life goes. He has been telling me to watch the show forever and ever and ever. Randomly said something about it yesterday, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then he goes, that show I keep telling you, blah, blah, blah. I'm finishing my research for this episode, and literally this show pops up. So it's just actually kind of funny. But yeah, October 18th, apparently. The
synchronicities are real.
Apparently it's coming back. So you can be happy.
I'm so excited.
Okay.
Queer representation in a paranormal TV show, and it is totally entertaining and way more wholesome and heartfelt than most paranormal shows. Okay, that's my plug.
Okay. So it was also on Ghost Brothers and Death Walker with Nick Groff. Unfortunately, though, because it's not open fully to the public, there's not a lot of like encounter stories.
Okay.
You know, like I love to give a little deep dive on Reddit.
Right.
Reddit had people that just took some pictures and was like, look at this like abandoned creepy place.
Gotcha.
That was about it. All right. However, I love a place that holds so many energies. And this is why I found this location and I was like, I want to talk about it. So this is a very history heavy episode, but you know,
Yeah.
with everything this building has held and seen, there's no way it does not have a wild amount of energy radiating from those walls.
Are you
as Zach was just saying?
Kidding me? The amount of different things that have been in there and a funeral home on top of it. It's haunted.
And basically, yeah, absolutely. And just to bring it back to what you said, Brian Cano, I'm sure he has talks that you can look up. We saw him talk about it live. The
Unreal Estate.
Thank you. But that is exactly what I feel about this house.
So Brian Cano's whole like spiel on the Unreal Estate is basically like, you know, we can talk about haunted locations as being full of haunted spirits. And he was trying to like flip that where you and I have talked about things like intentional hauntings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Haunting things become haunted when they're fed energy, and almost how like the locations themselves feed off the energy of both the living and the dead over time and start to want more of that. They almost become the entity instead of being filled with the entities. It's a really just interesting and different perspective to look at haunted locations with. Yes.
So shout out to Brian Cano. You should all follow him. And he's amazing. Okay. Anyway, that's our little plug of our friend. He's our friend.
I would say so.
Okay. All right. So anyway, Dalen Spratt from the Gross Brothers recapped on his YouTube channel. So not the Gross Brothers one, but he has one about the scariest encounter he had at the House of Wills. Basically, Dalen said he was told the woman's bathroom is the scariest place. And he kind of joked that must be why women always go to the restroom together, which is kind of funny because they always do. But he was not joking after his experience. So he was told to go into the restroom and to mirror gaze. Mirror gazes is something that we've actually talked about on one of our first episodes, Bloody Mary. So if you're new here and you haven't listened to that, that's actually one of my favorite episodes I've done because it has a lot of history and just a lot to it. So that's a good one to check out.
It is.
But anyway, so as he's looking at himself in the mirror for a little bit, he says everything around him just goes black. And I'm sure it was dimly lit, but you know, it's just like pitch black. And after some time, his reflection began to smile back at him.
Oh.
And he said, because people are like, well, what do you mean? What if you just started smiling? You didn't realize. He said that it was not his smile.
Oh, that's creepy.
It just was not his smile. It was like longer. Ew, a long. Think of a long smile.
It gives me a little bit of chills, but you know, maybe it was just somebody who was happy to talk to somebody.
He also said that it was sinister.
Maybe it was a sinister thing happening. Happy to talk to somebody.
So he was so startled that he dropped to the ground.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And then I guess there was like a girl. I don't know why she was there or whatever, but there was a girl next to him doing the exact same thing. And she just screamed and freaked out and was like, did your reflection just smile at you? And he's like, yeah.
That's horrifying.
No, thank you. Mirror gazing is really, really scary to me. Have you done it?
I've done some work with my black mirror.
Yeah, but I feel like that's different.
It is different. Well, I mean, it's similar, but I haven't had good results. But I have.
Here's the thing.
I guess I have never had it work.
Okay, after the Bloody Mary episode, I did it where I just sat in front of my vanity and just blankly stared at myself for a long time. And you just feel uncomfortable and you start to see you pick out insecurities that you never knew. But when you're actually focused on it, it actually is really fucking creepy because it's like you don't know that person.
Yeah, you do almost start to like dissociate from the image. It is very strange.
Yeah. All right. So on the actual episode of Ghost Brothers, Marcus, they're three brothers. If you guys haven't, or they're not really brothers, but they're brothers.
If you know, you know.
So Marcus refused to even participate in the investigation because Satanism was brought up. So, you know, on most like ghost shows, they have like the interview portion, yada, yada, yada. They're talking to Eric, the owner. Satanism was brought up, and
which is interesting in a building that was owned by Wills. I guess there's so many other owners that could have had bad intentions.
Well, there was like the Freemasons, and then there was just goes so back. So
hospital.
Yeah, you just don't. And then it was abandoned for a while, so people think that people broke in and blah blah blah. So anyway, he basically, after he was like, Satanism was brought up or being practiced in the building, he was like, I'm out. He's like, that's against my beliefs. That's against it. He's like, I'm done. Which I was like, dang, that's kind of bold, or like, I don't know. I was like, I've never seen that in a investigation where someone's like, yeah, no, I'm not, I'm done right away.
Part of the things we see is so much of the investigation that we consume. And Lauren said it good a couple weeks ago, right? Back in September, that it's for entertainment purposes. So a lot of people, when you see demonic, Satanism, whatever, they're like, this is going to be great for views. I love that we now have another person who's standing high in their moral ground being like, this isn't it for me. Done. This isn't what I'm going to do. I'm out. I appreciate that. Respect.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So Eric said that he subscribes to Satanism and that he uses it to help the community.
Well, what are we saying by Satanism? Because a lot of people who are satanic have nothing to do with demonic. It is a very community-based.
And that was, yes. And that was the thing that they were trying to explain to Marcus. But he was like, I'm sorry. I heard it. I'm done. I'm out. And they were kind of like, Eric's like, it has nothing to do with that. Like, but so
right.
Nothing to do with Satan. But I'm just putting that in there because it wasn't there. Okay. So Dalen and Juan continued the investigation. Marcus he was in the car watching all the video feed. He was supporting.
Perfect.
Without participating. So anyway, they saw a shadow figure walking across the hall, and then it went up the stairs and it was holding a light. Like
a lantern or a flashlight?
Maybe. They just saw a light and like a figure. So they really thought it was like a person. They're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're almost thinking it's like a security guard.
And they had a girl, Sarah, with them, and she was like, I literally just saw somebody walk with a light. So they followed it up the top of the stairs and they found a cat. Just a cat sitting there, which I was like, oh, now this is an abandoned building, but it's just wild that you're like, oh my God, there's then a cat.
Yeah. Shapeshifter.
So then they were like, follow the cat, because animals can sense stuff like that. So where the cat goes, follow the cat. So they followed the cat, and then they were met with like a black mass.
Ooh.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then during a spirit box session, after they kind of asked like, hey, Mr. Wills, like, is this you? Are you here? Whatever. They got the response, yes. And it was like, it kind of sounded like an older guy.
Yeah.
So Sarah Cope, she is an empath and an investigator. And she was there. She was helping them. And she said that her worst experience in the house was best described as her being puppeted. Like a puppet, like with strings, like she was being puppeted. That is the most terrifying statement ever.
Yeah, I don't
Ew.
like that.
Can you? No.
No, I am the only one who needs to be in control of my own limbs. Thank you very much.
And Sarah doesn't feel that there's anything demonic there. She's like, there's nothing demonic here, but it's just dark, and she just doesn't trust the house, is basically what she said.
Okay.
So that was kind of on that. And then on Deathwalker, Jessica October, so she's the manager, she stated that there was a suicide in the building, and it was Mr. Wills' son. Apparently he overdosed. She said she was pretty sure it was an overdose. And then Mr. Wills himself did die in the building, which kind of makes sense because it was his life. He was always there.
And he was probably using this one as his home too, I would imagine.
That I actually don't know.
Okay.
I mean, there's 42 damn rooms, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He definitely had room for a bedroom.
Yeah. And then there was a potential shooting / suicide by the stairs or on the property, not in the building, but outside. And she said she was pretty sure that was also a suicide, not a homicide. And then Eric on that episode said that he doesn't believe in ghosts. He thinks it's more from the past energies. And he says the structure was built to amplify energy. So talk about the Freemasons and things like that. It was definitely, well, not definitely, but they think that it was built specifically for that kind of stuff.
So are they thinking, or Eric's thinking it's more of like residual hauntings because of the way the building is rather than...
He doesn't really think hauntings. He doesn't think ghosts or anything like that. He subscribes to like the energy part of it.
Okay.
So it's just the energy, which I'm a big person of the energy, like what's brought in. And exactly what you were saying, like what Brian says is that, you know, the place is the haunted or the entity.
Gotcha. Okay.
But he does say that he, you know, like he doesn't believe in the ghost part, but he has seen dark figures move from room to room. And he will tell people that it's a very odd place. Like you're going to experience stuff, but he believes the house itself or building itself is the entity.
Love it.
On the episode of Deathwalker, that's kind of what the episode was about. Is it the place that's actually the haunting? Or the things that were in it that are haunting it?
If we look at like, right, let's use crystals, for example. Crystals are obviously objects, right, that resonate at a certain frequency, and that's why they're supposed to give off the benefits that they give. Like inanimate objects have been proven, whether that's more metaphysical science, but even in science, to be able to hold energy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it does make sense
that
a building, can over time become the actual thing creating the phenomenon.
Yep.
And that's tinfoil hat science.
Oh, we should put our tinfoil hats on. All right. So the House of Wills is known for draining all types of batteries, which makes sense. I mean, that's just a lot of places like
that
this.
Follows.
However, I think the weird part is that once you leave the property, your battery percentage will return.
Oh.
So everything will go completely dead, like flashlights, cameras, phones. But as soon as you leave that property, back to where it was.
That's
strange. I've never heard that. Jinx.
Yeah. Okay, that's an odd one. That's new.
Right? So when Nick was investigating, he kept talking about how just like the energy is different. Like can't really explain it, but the energy is definitely different. And he did get a few good responses. What I will say on this episode is that he was doing the theory. Damn, and now I can't remember what the theory is, but basically about the building being the entity. And he was doing a jailhouse in Detroit, which I didn't know that when I started watching the episode, and this place. So it was kind of going back and forth. So I was kind of trying to skip and just mainly focus on this. But he did get a really good few responses when he was asking questions.
Was it EVP or Spirit Box?
It was Spirit Box.
Okay.
Actually, what was the thing that Ace was using when we were at Eloise?
Still a Spirit Box.
Yeah, it was just like a large amp. That was what he was using, and it had a really fucking disturbing voice.
Yeah.
No, on this episode too. Okay, so anyway, he got accident happened, which that could make sense for maybe the suicides or just anything.
I mean, it was a hospital at one point.
Hospital. This was so many different things. He got, you need to get out of this house, which, okay.
Always.
This was an interesting one. He got heroin, which we did talk about how there could be a drug overdose. However, this building was abandoned for quite a long time and it was broken into multiple times, like from, people that needed to seek for homes, like homeless people, people stole all the copper, things like that. But who knows what the hell went on in that building. And then when he was kind of asking about it, it said, did heroin. So he got heroin and then did heroin right after.
So twice.
Yeah. The most common occurrence seems to be...
So let's go back to that for a second, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Thought that's come to me as we're talking about this, right? With the location being the entity. If it's feeding off the living's energy or feeding off their electronics, right? We hear over and over and over again at really haunted locations. It's always get out, something to scare you. Fear creates an adrenaline response, which is a surge of energy. If the house is looking for energy, I always want to remind people, not everything, even things that present as evil, doesn't mean that they're evil and demonic, right? There could be other reasons why we're looking for your physical response. Yeah.
And that's why I really wanted to highlight earlier that Sarah was like, it's not demonic. It's just dark. She just doesn't trust it, but it's not demonic. Because it hardly ever
Bad
is.
people in life are bad people in death. It doesn't mean that they are literally out for your soul for eternity. Okay.
Right. So the most common occurrence seems to be a man in a suit in the casket room, which I would think is probably Will's.
Probably.
Along with an apparition that seems to stare out from the window looking upon the neighborhood. Oh my God. It's so cute. No matter the thought behind like the hauntings or who the hauntings are coming from, no one can say that this house, the House of Wills, doesn't deserve to be talked about or doesn't hold a suspicious amount of secret. Don't be suspicious. So Zachary, are we adding it to our list?
I mean, I don't think we've gotten to one yet that we've said is not going on the road trip. So you know what? Add it to the damn road trip list.
All right, cool. Well, they're currently not taking investigators, but they do have some potential events coming up in the spring that we can look at.
Perfect. Real quick, before you get into the events, listeners, we love you. If there's any of you that have been here since day one who have somehow kept the list of all the places me and Kara have said we were going to go, we need you, because we say we're adding it to the list. There is no list. We need to make it. So,
we'll give you something if you can come up with that list.
Oh yeah.
We'll send you something.
Something big. Something good.
We'll send you something.
Come with us to one of the locations.
Yeah. All right. So their manager, Jessica, also has an occult metaphysical shop.
Ooh.
So if you live by, you can check it out, or otherwise her website, along with the current House of Wills info, is on her website. It's updated there until they get their website back up. So we'll have that linked below. But I just thought that this was really cool. I know that it's a little bit heavy on the history, but I thought that it was something that, should be talked about. It's close to us, so we can, go. But I just thought it was cool.
Yeah, no, that first of all, you know me, I love the backstory and the history.
I know.
It sounds like such a
too.
unique building. Definitely need to go. Definitely need to add it to the list.
Yeah, because I want to be friends with Wills.
I know. Just the name House of Wills. Oh, so great.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. So yeah, no, we've got another place.
That's the House of Wills for you guys. I hope you loved it.
Great job. Always leave me with like literally wanting to hit the road or do more research. Right? So,
and I'm sure we have, we have a decent amount of listeners probably in Ohio. So let us know if you've, maybe been there, or if you know a little bit more history about it that you can add, and call us. Let us know if you drive past it to work.
Have you seen her looking out the window? Or them? I don't think you gave a pronoun.
I think it's probably Wills.
Have you seen them looking out the window? What emoji do we want for a funeral home? Should we go with a casket? Is there a casket? Casket. All right, casket it is. If you made it this far, leave us a casket on some social medias. What else should the folks do before we close up the shop for the day?
Call us.
Beep us.
If you want to reach us.
Thank you.
I was waiting. I was hoping you were going to get that. Thank you. Reading my brain. I think that's really it. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Zach loves you and appreciates you.
And don't
hope that you. Well,
we have
I was
gifts
gonna say,
for the Patreon.
Yes, we have gifts for the first Patreon subscribers. I hope that you've been loving our guests. If you guys have guests that you maybe want us to have on, maybe you can at them. Hey,
yes.
Be a guest on Oddity Shop Pod.
Perfect.
Do all the things that we normally ask of you. I'm a gassy girl. I gotta go. So do all those things. I love you. I appreciate you. The most important thing that you can do for us is keep it real, yeah, balls. I said keep.
What is wrong with you?
It's 2 years. I don't know. Creep it real, yeah, balls.
That's it. She's fired. Goodbye.
Bye.